Shalom to the elect of Yasharala, the hopeful elect. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the ark and pushing his truth through the four winds of the earth, waking up the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Akwa who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah, coming into another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. And this is another update about wars and rumors of wars. So Lord's willing to be edified.
Senator Lindsey Graham said today that he believes Iran is behind the attacks on Saudi pipelines and ships in the Middle East, and that he wanted Iran to know that they should expect an overwhelming military response if Iran harms American personnel and interests in the region. In fact, he made this statement right after a briefing by none other than John Bolton.
The same man who met with other senior cabinet officials only a couple weeks ago to talk about the very issue of alleged Iranian aggression
and to prepare a 120,000-man American invasion of Iran. So Senator Graham came out of a meeting with John Bolton today, and he was wagging his finger. All right,
it's towards there's a war coming.
That's right, and he said he wanted Iran to know there's going to be overwhelming U.S. military response. The quote, as we just had up on the screen, just received a briefing from National Security Advisor John Bolton about escalating tensions with Iran. It is clear that over the last several weeks, Iran has attacked pipelines and ships of other nations and created threat streams against American interests in Iraq. American interests in Iraq.
He went on to say the fault lies with the Iranians, not the United States or any other nation. If the Iranian threats against American personnel and interests are activated, we must deliver an overwhelming military response. Stand firm, Mr. President.
And he did get that in there about Iraq.
He did.
He showed his hand, didn't he? He tipped his hand. He showed us.
I really believe that
there's going to be an incident, a major incident in Iraq against the United States of America. I mean, Lindsey Graham says that it's clear that Iran attacked the pipelines and the ships.
It's absolutely
clear.
So clear we can't show you the evidence just yet, but trust our intelligence.
Yes.
It's probably the case.
Trust us, we wouldn't start a war in Iraq again with false information, would we? That's true. We wouldn't do the same thing twice.
That's no way the public will believe that.
We wouldn't do that again, would we? He went on to say the fault lies with the Iranians, not the United States or any other nation. If the Iranian threats against American personnel and interests are activated, we must deliver an overwhelming military response. Stand firm, Mr. President. See, stand firm. Mr. Trump, stop going soft.
Stop waffling.
You got to start that war. That's what Lindsey Graham's saying to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump doesn't want a war. But he's being set up for one. All right.
He's been set up by who? The Heavenly Father, man. Okay? He's been set up by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Proverbs 20 and 24 say, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So he's been set up all right. It's by the Heavenly Father and his Son. Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai?
Manipulated.
A London-based Arab newspaper,
Al-Sharq Al-Arsat,
they reported that Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states have agreed to a request for a renewed deployment of American troops to deter Iran.
There you go.
Now, this is their report on Saturday that Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia, have requested the deployment of American troops to the Middle East.
Both by land and sea.
Yes. Did you know?
Hey, let's read this real quick. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. So you North American Edomites, you don't understand what your ass is getting into, because the Lord got his pen, got his spirit on this whole thing, man. The Lord is gathering the nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat, man. Okay? Into the valley of decision, man. Yahweh Shaphat. He's calling them all to the Middle East, man.
You notice that?
Yes.
Let's read this. According to the report, we're reading this version out of the Jerusalem Post. According to the report, the deployment comes as part of the cooperation between Washington and the Arab Gulf states and will take place both at sea and land.
It will take place.
It will take place because it's going to happen right after the U.S. Embassy in Iraq is attacked.
Right.
And they have the date of that attack.
You know, I noticed in this report they also made note of some alleged strategy the Iranians have been developing that they refer to as Panthel. What this is the use of thousands of speedboats and launching of mortars toward, let's say, the Strait of Hormuz, as, let's say, a U.S. carrier is coming through, that would create some kind of firewall against enemy attack. Now, the reason they brought this up is this is a prerequisite for deploying U.S. anti-missile defense systems, potentially. The Patriot missile system, for example, to Saudi Arabia and other Gulf nations in the vicinity of Iran.
That's Persia getting ready, man.
And so one more nation has Patriot launchers.
Yes.
And Russia and China look at this and go, here we go again. Missile launchers have been installed in another country.
And once they're
Circling
there,
us.
They never leave, do they?
No.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 8. I mean, Salaki, Jeremiah 28 and 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilences. Okay? These things is popping off, man. Okay? This is the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai in the land, man. These things is popping off. This is Matthew 24, and start at verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Yahweh shall answer and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And that's what we got going on now, man. We got wars going on now, man. Okay? You got Israel and the Palestinians bombing each other, man, with missiles. Okay, with short-range missiles. It say wars and rumors of wars, and we got rumors of wars going on every day, along with wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and that's what we have today, man. And kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and this famine's going on around the world, man, okay? It's famine's going on, man. It's been going on in Venezuela for a while. It's been going on in Syria for a while. Damascus. Other parts of the world, man, people don't got no food, man. People are starving, okay? Famine's been going on for a while, but it hasn't hit the shores of North America. And when it does, it's going to be all hell out here, man. And there shall be famines and pestilences. And we got that going on now with Ebola, with measles, with influenza. There's a lot of diseases going on, man. And earthquakes in diverse places. You see, and earthquakes. Now, just this month and last month alone, man, it's been earthquakes. I'm talking about by the hundreds, man, all around the world. In places that have never been before. In the last 2 years, it's been so many earthquakes, man, around the world. If you go and look it up on Google, you can see how many earthquakes been going on around the world, man. Okay? He said earthquakes in diverse places. It was earthquakes in Mexico, earthquakes in Japan, China. They have never been before, man. Okay? The signs is here. The main one is the RFD microchip and the The World War III.
They never leave. A respected admiral of the British Navy, Lord West, the former First Sea Lord of the Royal Navy, gave a dire assessment of a possible war between the United States and Iran. Now, his number, Doc, does not line up with John Bolton's number. John Bolton, if these reports are true, wants 120,000 American troops to invade Iran. But that's not what Lord West says. What's his number?
His number is 1 million. And what's interesting about Lord West is that there is a similarity between the two numbers that were given, because it could be 120,000 U.S. troops plus 800,000 Allied troops from the Middle East.
What was that number 3 years ago?
150,000 on that.
And that would have been from the Arab countries.
But they failed to get the Arab NATO plan off the ground.
That's right.
But it seems like this has brought those nations together once again. It could be that this could be the impetus that really makes that happen. I just don't know if the Arab states really have the wherewithal to get into this fight, because they've seen the Iranians fight before. I mean, if you recall back to the Iranian-Iraq conflict, several decades ago, that was a bloody, bloody mess.
Yes, it was.
And the Iranians fight to kill. I mean, they fight to win. And this is not going to be some cakewalk that we enter into with the Iranians. I think the Arab states understand that, and they're relying on the U.S. to be able to provide the all-out war frontage on it.
Well, Doc, if the U.S. puts 120,000 troops there and the Arabs put up 350,000,
You're at 500,000 already.
yeah, but you're still shy of
So short.
1 million troops. You're 500,000 shy of. Where's the other 500,000 come from?
President Trump the other day, he denied the fake news story of 120,000 troops, but he said if we did go to war with Iran, it'd be a heck of a lot more than 120,000.
And how many troops does America have in uniform right now?
Approximately 2 million across all the branches. But, I mean, people who are available to actually deploy, they have to call up the National Guard, the reserves. We probably could muster about 100,000. That's really skimping. We'd have to rely heavily on our aircraft support and our overwhelming firepower from our destroyers.
Okay, so if you're under the age of 25, here's the heads up why you should be paying attention to all this stuff. It's called the draft.
Right.
If John Bolton and Benjamin Netanyahu get their way and start a war with Iran, there's a strong possibility you're going to be drafted to go fight the Iranians in the Middle East.
And that breeze is a-blowing.
And there won't be one Israeli soldier there dying on the battlefield.
Just like Iraq.
This is hey, cause that draft coming, man. And some of you 2/3, you gonna fall right in that category, man. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Okay? Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. So the point of me reading this is proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Because they're going to have this going into the nations, the weak nations that's strong now, because they have missiles. But also, like he just said, man, they ain't finna do a draft, man. And all you, what he say, 25? Hey, man, you finna get drafted, man. And you going to fight. Because they're going to be down like flies out there. This is Revelation chapter 9 and verse 12. And it reads, one woe is past, and behold, there come 2 more woes hereafter. Okay? Because the first world war already passed. Okay? And the second world war already passed. So Revelation 11 and 14 reads, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And that's that third world's war. That's why the Lord say he's gathering his men into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Jehoshaphat, to battle, man. Okay? To battle, man. Going back in Joel chapter 3, it reads, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. Verse 14, it says, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Okay? So that's the valley of decision, man. Yahweh Shabbat, man. Yahweh's judgment, man. Okay? And they gathering all these nations, millions on top of millions of troops, mighty men, to do what, man? To go over there and be destroyed, okay? Now this is Jeremiah 50 and verse 30. And it reads, therefore shall her young men fall in the streets. It's talking about Babylon. Read verse 29. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend up the bow, come against it round about. Let none therefore escape. Recompense her according to her works, according to all that she have done, that done to the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, and destroyed this world in all wickedness. Do unto her, for she have been proud against the Lord Yahweh, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, to my all you Edomites, and 2/3 of Jake, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. Okay? Now when you go to Isaiah chapter 3, this is talking about Jake right here. Isaiah 3 and 26, and it reads, Isaiah 3 and 25, thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty men in the war. So you 2/3 Jakes, you gonna die in the war too. Guess why? Because of this. Isaiah 13 and 16, Isaiah 13 and 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, talking about these Edomites and all these heathen nations, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Because you Jakes want to be joined to Esau, Edom, in their democracy, and they, I'm going to fight for my country. So guess what? You're going to die over there, man. Okay? You're going to die over there fighting, like what Lawrence Fishburne said in Boys in the Hood. Hey, an Israelite, man, ain't got no place in the army, man. Okay? And that's facts, man. Going back in Joel chapter 2, verse 20 said, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him in a land barren and desolate. And they're talking about in the Middle East. Okay? In the valley of Jehoshaphat, man. And it said, with his face towards the east sea, meaning the Persian Gulf. Okay? They're talking about the Persian Gulf. And his hinder part toward the utmost sea, meaning the Red Sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. So the Lord say, hey, they stink gonna come up, man. They gonna, cause it's gonna be they're gonna be in that valley, that barren and desolate land for the war, man. Okay, where they gonna die at. So all you young cats, man, hey, that's out here being wicked, guess what? You finna get drafted, man. Oh, I got another one. This is 2nd Ezra 16. 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegroom. The women shall mourn, having no husband. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegroom be destroyed, and their husband shall perish of famine. Hey, because you're going to die, man. All you going to fight for these Edomites, the Lord say you're supposed to be joined to them, man. Okay? Make no covenant with the heathens, man. You're going to be destroyed. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
They'll be at home enjoying peace and quiet.
Yes, they will.
While you're fighting for Israel.
Right.
Spoils of
Is
war.
it your duty to fight for Israel? It's your obligation to fight and die for Israel. If you believe the Christian Zionists, you'll have to go to war and fight for Israel. But I'm being very serious.
Yes.
have 1 million troops there, you're going to have a military draft.
Yes. And I think they would push for that. They would actually go for that.
So you're going to have to do something so shocking, so devastating, that the American people once again are fooled by appealing to their patriotism, trot out the American flag, bring out Uncle Sam, and say, aren't you willing to fight one more time for the red, white, and blue? And the American people will say, yeah, here's my son. Take my son and kill my son. That's what you do.
Now in Joel, it said, I'm going to read it again. It say, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him in a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the East Sea. The East Sea represents Persian Gulf and the Euphrates, and his hinder part, meaning the backside, towards the utmost sea, meaning the Red Sea. Okay? And his stink shall come up as an ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. Hey, you gonna be destroyed out there, man. The Lord is gathering you, man. Okay, this is a big gain to the Lord, man. Okay? In 2nd Ezra, hey, matter of fact, it must be read. 2nd Ezra 13, and it reads, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men. This is 2nd Ezra 13 and 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number from the four winds of the heaven, meaning from the four winds of earth, okay, to be gathered to the valley of Jehoshaphat, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Now it's talking about Yahushua, because he's coming from outer space. So from another galaxy, from the spiritual realm. Where I say him that come out of the sea, because up there in the atmosphere it's water, man. That's water up there. Okay? So it say to subdue him that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. And you seen this in Independence Day, the first one, and there's a better one when you watch the second Independence Day. Okay, they really go into, because that was representing Yahushua, man. Okay, the chariot is so big, it's gonna cover the whole planet, man. It say, but I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region of place whereof the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him, talking about all these nations, that's the Lord that's gathering their armies right now into the valley of Jehoshaphat, over there in the Middle East. It said, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight, because the Lord gonna put the spirit on them, man. When they see Yahushua come, they're gonna get terrified, man. But he's gonna put the spirit in the fight anyway, because the Lord, in Exodus 15:3, the Lord is a man of war. So he loves a good fight, man. And lo, and he saw the violence of the multitude that came. He neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. They were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest. And this is talking about them laser beams that's gonna come from the chariots, and the Lord, the power of the Lord gonna use, man. Okay, with the missiles, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. They're talking about all you heathen nations, man. And burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Okay, Ezra said, but only dust and smells of smoke. That's what Ezra and Joel saw the same thing, because Joel said what? And his stink shall come up, man, and his ill savor. So they saw the same thing, man, that all these nations gonna be destroyed and ain't gonna be nothing left but dust and smells of smoke, man. They stink shall come up. All the dead bodies, all them bodies, man. Okay? Armageddon, man. Okay? The mountain of troops, man. The Lord is gathering them to fight, man. Hey, and you can see this every day. They are deploying troops over here to the Middle East, man. Okay? The Lord is now really gathering these nations. Hey, it's finna go down real soon, man. Real soon. We're waiting on the RFID microchip to get implemented, to be made mandatory. It's going down, man. So while y'all out there playing games, it's about to go down.
Offer your son for the sake of Zionism.
Yes.
You might as well offer your sons and daughters to go fight, cause hey, the state say they own them anyway, man. Okay? They say your kids ain't even your kids, man. The state own your kids. Hey, and you ain't teaching that. They ain't getting the truth no way. Hey, you might as well let them go over there and be destroyed.
And they need another Lusitania. They need another Pearl Harbor. They need
Another
another
USS
9/11.
Yep.
Yeah, another USS Maine for that.
That's right. And
Something
need another.
so, like you said, something so shocking that even the tired millennials today rise up and say, yes, we've got to do something. We've got to stop this terror around the world.
And a lot of governments would benefit. Let's say it's not just the United States that gets drug into this. Say other NATO nations who are having turmoil at home, like Britain. Because Lord Admiral West, he also noted that this war could lead to conscription in England also, because their military and America's military are intricately intertwined. There's no way to differentiate between the two.
Lord West went on to say, this is an interview with the Daily Star, I think Donald Trump himself doesn't want there to be a conflict, but there are powerful factions in Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the United States who believe an attack would be a good thing. This includes John Bolton. They think they would destroy the Iranian armed forces, there would be a regime change, and all the garden would be rosy. The only problem with this is they would be completely wrong. He said invading Iran, taking it over, and then coercing it into becoming a different sort of country, you would need 1 million men. Now this is the admiral. There's this picture of him. He was the last man, his ship sank in the Falkland
Yes,
War.
HMS Ardent.
Yes, he was the last man off the ship as it sank. This man knows about war.
He's been in the British Navy for 50 years. This is a warrior. And someone who's giving advice not just to the American or the British people, but to the world. For anyone who read that interview today.
And he referred to the people who want this war as idiots. So I'll just let the Admiral's words stand.
And this is in light of that British general last week who said that we haven't seen any increased activity with Iran. They haven't made any new threats to us at all. They haven't done anything to provoke us. And yet we're evacuating embassies, we're evacuating where, nations are pulling out their forces.
Deploying an armada
Yes.
to the Persian Gulf.
Hey, man, it's going down, okay? Prophecies are playing out, man. So you better prepare yourself, putting on the whole armor of Yahweh while Yahweh Shah. If not, you're going to be destroyed too, man. Whoever you is. If you ain't doing the will of the Father, you will be destroyed, man. Thus saith the Lord. We are in serious times, man. This is serious time. The Lord said, gird up your loins like a man. He demanded of you, man. So you better get your mind right or be destroyed, man. The Lord's witness is edifying. Gotta give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. And a sincere salutation to all the ark and preaching this truth throughout the four winds of the earth. We'll hit on the hopefully elect. Shalom to the Akwa for our listening and learning.